Welcome to the AO Daily Show, your source of real news in an unreal world, keeping you up to date on the latest news, events, and the great community of Albion Online. Today is the 17th of December, and I am your host, Shozen, and with me today is my co-host, a very, very festive Bogul. How are you doing, Christmas-themed Bogul?
Ho. I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. I have my stomach filled up to my nose with cookies and milk. I'm ready to enjoy the Christmas season. And I'm ready to enjoy another stream, Shows. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I'm having a fun time here in game, giving away lots of mounts. I'm glad that Funstealer gave me so many of them. I've already given away 4, and I haven't even started the show yet, Bogle.
What are you giving away mods the whole show?
I am giving away mounts the entire show
Oh,
until I'm out, and it's going to be fun. I've enjoyed it so far. For you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, today is the beginning of the holiday season for us here at Albion TV, and we're going to be giving away more gold, free mounts. I might have some maps for giveaway. I might get some hats. Who knows what we're going to give away during the next 4 days, maybe even 5 days. I might even try to give stuff away on. I don't know how I would do it, but I might try to give stuff away on the invasion. I know that sounds crazy, but Bogle, it's the holiday season. I feel like giving these guys stuff besides shit.
nice. Well, yes, very, very.
Yeah,
That
well, you know me.
surprised me, that last word. I didn't expect that. So what's on today's show then, Shozen, since we
well,
are in the introductory mood right now?
Well, as always, it's Newbie Tuesday, so we're going to focus this show around the new player and try to do lots of new player-centric stuff. Today, we're going to have an interview with the GM and, I don't know, alliance leader of Brave Newbies. It's a new player-centric guild slash alliance. It's a conglomerate where they make the guild you're in is pretty much what you do. And I believe he's in Brave Vanguard, which seems to be the main guild. And then people branch off from there. But we had him in, and he talked about not only his guild, which he did a little bit of, but more about his website, Albion News 24, and how they, as another news organization here in the community, are trying to help inform new players and just keep the community growing in general. During the day, all day long today, like I said, I'll be giving away lots of stuff. And I think that's going to be the focus of today. At 19 UTC, we will have Sean Tazick in. We will do some Crystal GVGs. We'll watch some highlights. We'll get merry. And then we will watch GVGs or whatever happens at 20 UTC. And I will, again, Bogle, I'll be giving away lots of stuff.
How can I participate in getting stuff, Shozen?
Okay, so if you want stuff, there are 2 ways. One, if you're a person who just wants the gold, you can hang out here in chat and just type !raffle in chat. And that's what most of you are going to do. I know it. I've been here. I've seen it.
Cool.
For those of you who are a little bit more adventurous and can do 2 things at once, like get in game and hang out in chat, I will be giving away stags provided by the great and mighty Funstealer of Conflict, the well-rounded guild of Squawk.
Nice.
He gave me 100 mounts to give away over the next 4 days, and I'm going to give away 30 plus of them today. And all you have to do is walk up to me here. I'm at the Carleone dancing pole, and you just come up to me and hand me a snowball.
A snowball. Okay.
Yeah.
That's easy enough.
Yep.
All right. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
It's pretty easy. I mean, it's a good trade. I'm going to tell you, value-wise, you're winning out here.
All right.
All right. And
But
you know what the first thing I got to do before we get into I know we got PSAs, we got news, we got real
yes,
stuff for these guys.
I wanted to bring that up because that's what we do here on this show. We talk about news, gossip, community news, things, anything Albion related, even about whatever you want us to talk about. But first things first, news, updates, official things, PSAs. First things first, we had a very special event happening over the last few days. The Elite Dungeon weekend speedrun event that was subsequently extended, where you can check out the new dungeons, the Elite dungeons that will come with Queen and you could try your hand at them the first time ever. And Elsa was gracious enough to start a little event that I think was a shameless trap to get you guys to try this out for balancing purposes.
It's perfect. I'm telling you, that is good game design right there. When you can, get as many people in to have a good time and test your stuff, that's the way you do it. Have a good time, test the stuff.
In case you participated, there is still time to submit your video footage until tomorrow. So in case your GM didn't do that yet, send him a little reminder and say, hey, I want my gold codes. Do that now, please. Thank you. So that's your first reminder. The second reminder that we have today is that it will be Invasion Day, or Reset Day as it's now called, coming up again this Saturday. It is after just 3 weeks since the last one, and you will be streaming that, right, Shozen?
Yes, I will. I will be here on the 21st with Lupac, who will be here for both the EU and the NA portion of the show. However, between those two portions, he has his other job where he is a DJ, and I believe he'll be DJing probably like a wedding or something like that. So he should be pretty tipsy by the time he gets back. And it's going to be another one of those interesting invasions. I'm sure he won't be that. It's just the holiday season.
Streamer.
He's professional.
Right.
He knows how to handle himself.
Cool. Well, that is at 18 or 17:30 UTC. I think you guys start, and 0:30 UTC on Saturday. Correct?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. All right. So
sorry, Bogul. I am under constant assault here by the people who are here for the mounts. I don't know if you've seen the number of people who have stacked up on me, but they're all in line to receive their stags. This has been quite a successful giveaway so far. I'm down to my final 7 mounts.
Already in 4 minutes? That's fast. I think we need more stuff to give away. We need to figure out more things.
Hold on, I'll give away some extra ones today because it's just so much fun. Oh my god, I think Frostev already got one. I think this guy's going for a second one here.
No.
No doubling
try
up,
to
guys.
limit yourself to 1, please. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. I can't pay attention to who's who.
But I think you need to pay attention to the main event of today's show.
Yeah.
Since you need to introduce our interview today and let everybody know what we will be listening to for the next 30 minutes or so before we do some live crystal watching today.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this interview. We just did this interview just a few moments ago, didn't we, Bogul? It was, 2 hours ago?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, okay. I was like, okay. And moving on from there. Yeah, but yeah, do you want to start playing that interview right away? I mean, we got through all the... No, we have one more PSA, Bogul.
No, we can do that later. That's okay. That's okay. Because you didn't explain yet who we're talking to.
Well, sorry. I'm very distracted. There's a constant stream of people trying to get the mounts from me right now. And so we're talking to Voltel, who is like I said, the GM of Brave Newbies there in Brave Vanguard. And he also runs a news organization called Albion News 24, which is, it's Albion News 24, right? Yeah, that's what it's called. And it's a Twitch site like ours that once a week, has been on Sundays, is moving to Saturdays, does a news show for about an hour to 2 hours where they cover a lot of stuff that we can't really cover, as much drama-wise, as much, I don't know. They get a lot of salt out of people. They do a lot of live interviews. We don't do a lot of live interviews because Bogul and I did our first live interview that Bogul and I ever did was on Albion Informer, and we had Derek on. And we almost never did another interview again. But it wasn't like Derek was a bad interview. We had a great time with him. He was fantastic. Thank you to Derek for that interview a long time ago. But we learned a valuable lesson. You guys are players, and you have different priorities than us. And our priorities are staying on the air, and yours are telling us how you feel. And sometimes those two things don't go together super well. But this is we did this. This is a pre-recorded one. Voltel is always 100% professional. It was a pretty good chat. I think you guys will enjoy it. We cover many subjects. It's not just for new players, this interview, but it should be helpful to you guys because if you're a new player, I got to tell you, Brave Newbies is a good place to start.
Okay. The raffles will continue on, the giveaways will continue on, and I will play this interview for you guys now.
Welcome to Albion TV presents the AO Daily Show, and today we have a very special interview with Voltel of Albion News 24. And joining me for this interview will be Bogul, my co-host today. Bogul, how are you doing?
Hello, sir. I'm doing quite well. I'm looking forward to talking to Voltel. Hello, sir. Are you here?
I am here. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. It's great to have you on. I've joined you on your show a few times. It's great to have you back on ours. Why don't you start this off by telling the audience a little bit about who you are and where you came from?
I came from a game that you may have heard of, EVE Online. Decided to retire to Albion. Came over here. I believe Alpha. Was it Winter Alpha, Summer Alpha? When it first came out, and been here ever since. I was actually looking at the registration of Albion News. It's been a year and a half, right? Isn't it?
Oh, congratulations!
Kind of crazy.
Yeah, you've been doing the Albion News, not the website, but the Twitch show as well, quite often. What have you missed? Like 2 shows in the last 4 months? 5 months?
5 months, yeah. We missed 2 shows. One was technical difficulties, and one was, life. So.
Well, these things happen. I think that amounts to a ton of content there. That's 1 a week for 4 months. That's 14 shows if you take out 2. That's a lot of content on there. Glad to hear it. But you don't just do that website. Tell me more about what got you here in game, because I know that this is Newby Tuesday. We're having you on for Newby Tuesday, and there's something about what you've done here in game that we generally like to talk about on Newby Tuesdays. What's the name of your guild / alliance / conglomerate of friends?
It's Newby. Brave Newby is the name of the alliance. The guild is Brave Vanguard, but we don't really look at guilds. It's all one community. We organize through SIGs. But it's really to try to rescue people from the crappy, new player experience.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully having them skip that if they can, and get them into a community, and also try to prevent them from being snatched up by leech guilds / potato guilds, and get them a basic working knowledge of the game so they can jump into whatever play style they enjoy, right?
Yeah, there's a little bit of player exploitation in the early levels, and with the 48 hours that you have to wait after you join your first guild before you can join your second guild, it can make it a little bit difficult for new players. And yeah, having a guild or alliance out there that tries to scoop up new players right away, help them get involved in the new player experience, get through the early stages from the crossroads to the new cities, and teach them how to get that T4 gear at every level and make it out into the world. Start their own economy. Start working with other people to get that fame going.
Yeah, we get them out into the black zone as soon as possible because, sitting in blue zone whacking at trees is really boring, let's be honest.
Well, I mean, Bogul, are you going to let that stand? I know you love a good tree whacking.
Not that we discriminate against tree whackers.
I like to smash stones. That's
okay.
what I like to do.
Yeah,
that's better.
Yeah,
smash stones.
But I sort of agree with that sentiment. Yes.
Yeah, I mean the main idea, it's kind of tied in together with the Alliance and the Albion News, right? Is to bring people in, get them past that initial learning curve, I guess would be the politically correct way of saying it, and get them to actually experiencing some sort of content, whether it's PvP, PvE, or crafting, gathering, economy, etc. We have a guy that came over, and he's already up to 100 million silver, 2 weeks playing the market. So and he
That's
hasn't
not bad.
done much anything else.
Well, I hope he's listening to the Thursday Market Watch, because those tips are the best. That's probably how he did it.
Yeah, he's been doing black market. He's already got like 10 islands. He's kind of going crazy.
Wait, that actually does sound like a guy that I recently ran into on the AO Daily Show.
Actually, that was Exxon, the guy that you interviewed.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I interviewed him. He was doing so well for a new player. So
Yeah,
guys,
he's going crazy.
there are some new player guilds out there. If you are one of those many new players who's looking for a forever home that can get you started in the game and get you a little bit of a leg up, we've already seen evidence that the new player experience in the Brave Newbies can work for you. I'm not going to say you're Exxon Fang, I mean, the guy did come from Eve and does know what he's doing and has some, experience in video games.
Well, he did get a lot of questions answered. But I mean, the main point is don't try going it alone. The solo adventure in this game is not, I mean, it's not a solo game. It's not designed to be a solo game. And it's not fun playing it as a solo game, in my opinion.
Well, I would say it's much more fun to have friends who can support you in this game. I wouldn't say that it's not fun to play solo, because a lot of my gameplay for the last 2 years has been very, very solo.
Your community is involved. Your community is involved. You're sitting here with me and Bogul.
Right.
Friends.
It's true. I get to play a lot of the game outside of the game with other players. I don't get to play a lot of the in-game game with other players because I do try to avoid a lot of the bias that'll come with that.
But that's a valid form of gameplay. Yeah. I mean, there's people that literally don't log into the game that play the hell out of Albion or Eve or Black Desert Online, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of the things that we talk about all the time on the show is the game outside of the game is just as much the game. You can play this game at work by, smack talking on Reddit. Like you can
Discord online.
Yep. There's a lot of ways to play this game, and the political nature of this, the fact that it's one server for the entire world and everybody gets to play together, and the fact that you can go onto the King's stream, shit talk him, then politely ask a question and he will answer that question. You don't get that anywhere else. You can't do that in other games. The King is going to be like the king for one server. It's going to be a different king for another server. Going to be a different king for another server. Ours, we got one server. It's pretty freaking amazing, and once a month, you can basically guarantee that you could run into that dude and slap, sticks or swords or whatever you slap.
Anyways, the idea behind all of it was to attract people to the game that like that type of gameplay, the sandbox, open, various different types of sandbox gameplay, and get them into the game, and try to retain them, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, at the end of the day, we have thousands of people signing up for this game, and a lot of them either get into a leech guild and quit, or, they get stuck in the new player experience, or, and we try to, 9 times out of 10, we're helping people get through the less than attractive new player experience starting missions.
Well, I will say that the game does have a drastic change when you go from what I consider an absolutely fantastic tutorial. That tutorial that they have now is light years ahead of what used to exist, and it does feel like a big drop off when you go from that tutorial to the crossroads, and then there's no longer any direction. When it went from really step by step directions the whole way to just nothing, and I would like to see some kind of transition phase, but having a guild that can step in and offer that information as part of their, your onboarding into the guild is to give a lot of information that you would get in a extended tutorial oftentimes.
Well, a lot of the stuff Albion does, like Bogul here, he has been killing himself for the last couple of years getting the wiki up and running. In other games, they didn't even have a wiki, right? Like, that was all player created completely. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty much you got dumped in the game and that was it. Good luck, see you later. We do have a lot of resources. It's just that transition is really rough, and I think that's where a lot of our retention issues as a community come from. Is people just not having a clue what to do. And, our idea from a player organization perspective is to try to grab them. And a lot of times we help people get, wherever they're going, and they don't even join us, right? They'll join some other random group.
Well, that's the nice thing about having, as your guild seems to be very new player centric, it does give people a starting off point so they can go other places. A lot of people in the game. Not all of them, I would say, are friendly with you. Some of them are a little hostile towards you. I've seen the hostility. But some of them are very friendly with you, and they can be from very differing places. I mean, you have been doing a bunch.
I've been everywhere.
Yeah, you've been having a bunch of classes recently on your website and your Twitch show. You do a lot of interviews, a lot of different content, and it really does give a wide variety of different players from around the world of Albion, many different alliances, a showcase and a soapbox to talk. And I'm sure that leads to a lot of options for people who do go into Brave Newbies, because not every guild leader will be like, yeah, I know Duratine. Yeah, you're Brazilian and you need a Brazilian home. Yeah, he's got a good Brazilian home for you. You can probably go over there. What, you want a GVG every day and you're sick of our lackluster GVG performance? Yeah, I know a guy who GVGs every day. I don't know if he'll let you in, but maybe. Are you going to donate everything? Yep, he'll let you in. You know some guys in different guilds who might be a good place for people.
In the last month, we've had guys go to Crimson. We've had guys go to Ego. We've had guys go to Money Guild. Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like, from what I understand, there's not a lot of hostility with the guys who leave. It's more like, yes, it's a community-oriented guild designed to make the community of Albion better as a whole by giving newer players a place to learn and get going. I understand you want to keep players, of course, like everybody else, but that doesn't seem to be your main goal. It seems to be to really keep them in Albion.
Yeah, I mean, that's first and foremost. I mean, you think about it, if out of those thousands of players that come in every week, if we even retain 40%, here pretty soon we'll be, one of the largest groups, even with that turnover, So who cares, really, to be honest? As long as they stay in the game, that's all that matters, because that's content. That's the next generation of ZBZ. That's the next generation of GG. That's the next generation of Shock. Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we need to constantly bring people in because, you want this game to grow. You want it to be here for 10, 15 years. That's why I'm here doing what I do with the communities. I want it to last, forever.
Well, that's the idea behind Albion News is highlighting, all the different aspects. And, ideally, we only have a fraction of what I want on Albion News, actually on Albion News. I want the drama. I want the intrigue. I want the, battle reports, want all of the, guides, the videos, essentially, the market stuff, hint, hint. It's just, there's many different aspects to this game that attract people or could attract people from other games that, aren't very clear. The opportunities or the ways that you can play and control the market, for example, are not very well illustrated to the outside world. I mean, if you've been playing for, a year, 2, 3, 5, whatever, that. But if you're looking at it from the outside looking in, you don't just see that, right? You don't see that there's, black market, there's regional markets, there's logistics, there's the plots, there's owning the cities. There's 3 or 4 layers to the market, right? Just from that perspective alone, right?
Yeah, that is one thing a lot of people don't see until you get in, is the complexity. But the one thing that shines outside of this game that other people can see looking in is that it is a player-driven economy. But the level of layers involved is much greater than I expected it to get to when I first started. When I first started, I thought it would be that craft, refine, use, destroy cycle. But what it is turned
it's way
into
more than that.
Is really incredible. Like, I'm very impressed by the way that the markets work, including the black market to distribute goods to the world. The silver sinks in the game, some of them are really impressive, like the way that they came up with them. But the ability to have those gear syncs impressed me even more as a junior game designer. When I put on my junior game designer hat and I see the way that they crush items, I'm really impressed by it. It does a really good job without making it punishing.
Even setting up like a cartel outside of the game, like Resort did, that's freaking awesome, right? That's the type of gameplay that you can do in this type of a sandbox. And there are people that, they live, eat, and breathe for that type of gameplay. And if they knew it was here, they'd probably come. And some of those people are pretty well known. And if they came, they'd bring other people.
Well, we've seen a couple of people come in from other places that were pretty well known. I mean, what is it? I don't want to throw anybody, his name around too heavy, but we got like Doom Chinchilla out there who came in from Eve. He was pretty big for a while. We've got some other guys who came in.
Yeah, we've got Overdose, Exxon, Fang was really big. He's still actually big. He's in multiple groups over at Eve. We've got some big Black Desert Online players in the Asian community that came over. There's a lot of people that are seeing this as the next generation of sandbox they want commit to.
The thing is, I see people coming in from other games because they can see the economy in this game. They do see that. But what I don't hear a lot about is the people who are coming in for our PvP. And I love our PvP. Our open world PvP of large scale PvP, I think is the best large scale PvP I've played in any of the MMOs.
The problem with that is...
Go ahead.
So the big problem with that, and that's something we're also working on trying to fix, is you can't very well see a battle. So... In a game, I'm going to use Eve again, you can see, there's this huge battle with thousands of players or hundreds of players or whatever, and, thousands of dollars and stuff went poof, right? We have those battles here, but they're very hard to show and illustrate. There was a big battle, I think, between Blue Army, Ego, and like Poe back in the day that I tried to reconstruct. And it was like $40,000 or $50,000 in gear that got deleted. But it took 2 or 3 days of trying to figure out, okay, what is this piece worth? Is this worth? You know what I mean? And
there's no automated way to do it yet. And hopefully
we're working on something that'll do that.
Yeah. Do we want to? Well, first, there's so much I want to talk to you about. I want to talk about some of the content you've had on your Twitch show before we get on to this other content, because I do want to talk about the future of what you're working on, because some of those things sound incredibly awesome. But I want to talk about some of the stuff you've already done, because you said you have a lot of drama on your show. One of the things I like about your show is that you get to have on people from very different parts of the game community to talk together in not very moderated chat. They get to go off on each other pretty hard and talk about whatever they like, and it has led to some pretty interesting moments. You've had people on who I could never have on our show because of how volatile they are, and that makes for good entertainment. Were there any moments that really stuck out in your mind as something that you went, that was good, that was good, that was real good?
There's been some things between like King Mojo and Derek going back to their history, like excuse me. A lot of people don't realize they started together with Shiro. Yep. There was some good stuff with Gluttony. He came on. That was a pretty good show. There's usually some good leaks, or somebody wants to, declare war or shit talk live on stream, or, drop some big juicy, I don't know, drama bomb. So I don't know. It's fun just having a platform where people can do that. I mean, a lot of people misunderstand what Albion News is all about. Realistically, I'd like to have a dozen shows like that with different flavors, right? Talking about different aspects of the game, maybe even just an economy show.
Well, you also, you do cover different aspects. You had 2 classes on already, or 3 classes on 2 different subjects. You had Duratine come on and do ZVZ shot calling, where I understand he explained ZVZs pretty thoroughly and then went over the most basic areas of shot calling.
Yep. He went over basic ZVZ mechanics, movement, what goes into a small ZVZ group, what's important. and then went to some basic shot calling, principles, I guess you could say.
And then you had, who was it? It was Lissy Tank?
Yep, List Tank from Poe and Money Guild.
He was he's their A-team healer, I believe. He's pretty well known in the healing circles. Healing circle, huh?
He's definitely top 3 or 4 healers. I mean, it depends who you talk to.
Yeah, definitely as far as well known, definitely probably one of the top 2, maybe 3 well known. Definitely in the top 5 healers, has maintained a level of consistency. Sometimes he's probably been the top healer in the game, but he's never been out of the top 5.
Yeah, when you're at that level, does it really matter?
No.
1 or number 3?
No, it doesn't. They're all fantastic, and it's harder to tell how good a healer is sometimes, except for when it goes bad.
Well, he'd probably be more critical of his abilities than anybody else.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's a very interesting character. I do enjoy spending time with him. I've gotten to be on your show with him, and he's really entertaining. I do enjoy him.
Yeah, we've also had some very niche interviews. We had MacTep from the Russian community. We had Orgy from what is his group again?
Infinite?
Orgy Infinite, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Infinite. We've had pretty much everybody.
You've had
From every
Torthor
basic group.
on a lot about every time he's got another drama, you have him on, which is, he's due for one. It's been more than 48 hours since the last Ego drama. Do you think he's going to have another one ready for your Sunday show?
I don't know. We're actually going to be moving the show to Saturdays. I can't do Sunday.
Okay.
That's one of the things.
Do you have a time set so we could tell the audience now when it's going to be, so that they can set their clock and write it on their calendar and make sure that they have that?
The same time, 1600.
1600 UTC?
Yep.
Okay. That's right now,
UTC.
like as we're recording. That's right now while we're recording this 2 hours before our show. So this is almost live. It's so almost live.
Except Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Except it'll be on Saturdays. Yeah.
But yeah, we're actively soliciting anybody from the community for the Twitch. We want to have multiple shows and multiple formats. If you want to do a show focused entirely on markets, or you want to do a show where you get a bunch of buddies together, get drunk off your ass and talk shit. I think Snaxer's doing one where he's going to analyze the GBG matches of the last week. All of those, plus any ideas you have. I think we have one. We got somebody from the Hardcore Expedition community that's going to do like a weekly Hardcore Expedition type show. So that'd
be really cool. I'd love to see that. We need, from what I understand, the Hardcore Expedition crowd needs more light. They need a little bit more publicity so they can get more people to sign up so they can play more. Much like the arena groups. But the Hardcore Expedition guys are actually organized, and they try hard, and they want to do it, whereas the arena guys are like, I got nothing better to do. Let's sign up for arena for 40 minutes. I got a match.
Well, speaking of learning curves, I mean, Hardcore Expeditions are very harsh learning curves.
Yeah, they are.
We're actually spinning up a Hardcore Expedition SIG to train people on Hardcore Expeditions so they can get to a basic level of understanding so they can go actually do Hardcore Expeditions.
Excellent. All right. Excellent. So you said that you wanted to get a bunch of different people to do a bunch of different shows, but you told me you wanted somebody specific, very much so for your website, because you guys want to do more articles, right? You want more written stuff, and you're looking for an editor or skilled writer or somebody who's, looking to get published on a well-read website and get some, publicity for themselves.
Well, more than that, I mean, a lot of where, again, using Eve as the example, a lot of where Eve got a lot of their exposure was on either Imperium News or Eve News 24 or Crossing Zebras. Somebody would write up an article, very, very well written article, and it would get picked up by PC Gamer, Cockatoo, or 10 Ton Hammer, and it would get Eve a shit ton of exposure. It would bring a lot of new players into the game, and we have the connections to get your article in front of those people. It's just realistically, I'm a shit writer, And I was pretty much told that point blank by one of those guys. So if you're interested in writing up about any aspect of this game, whether it's drama, writing up a battle, talking about different aspects of the game, like Captain Russia does, anything and everything is allowed as long as you don't dox people. I don't care if King Mojo or somebody from Crimson or Oops or Arch or whatever wants to write up an article about how awesome their group is and they're going to take over, that works too.
I would love to hear that. I would love to have more writers, but I would definitely love to hear somebody throw out what they're going to do next and then actually make it happen. Still.
Yeah, press releases. I mean, just anything realistically that's related to either the politics, the diplomacy, the mechanics of the game. We want more of that, right? Okay. I mean, even if somebody's a prolific shit poster on Reddit, we can polish that up a little bit and make it look a little nicer, and who knows.
Okay, absolutely, would love to see it. Speaking of mechanics of the game, you're working on some mechanical stuff right now as we speak. You've been working on an auth system for quite a while now. Do you want to explain to the audience what an auth system is and what they might be able to expect in the near future?
Yeah, it's more a community management system. If anybody's managed a large group in Albion, Eve, any other game, just managing simple things like Discord permissions, roles, managing gear replacement. If you go out and bang and you lose 300 sets, just verifying everybody's in the right gear is, a full-time job, right? So we've been working on an authentication system that'll pull through the API, make sure, if somebody joins the group, whether it's a guild or alliance, it'll look and see, that this guy is in the appropriate group, give him the appropriate permissions. And then likewise, if he leaves the group, it'll automatically remove those permissions. But it also ties into a back end system that allows you to, manage, gear replacement. So it automatically analyze, okay, out of this 100 people that died, these 80 people had the correct gear. They're authorized for gear replacement. These 20 people, we're trying to cheese it and had, flat 4 gear, so they don't qualify for gear replacement, that type of stuff, which is it's a huge organizational management problem. And a lot of the groups that we've talked to, this is something we've been working on since actually beta. Thanks to Bogul, he actually was able to bring in somebody from SBI. I know there's other people in the community like Romby. He's been pushing for it from Arch. Hey, realistically, it just makes about 95% of the administration work that you have to do as an alliance leader, community leader, guild leader, largely automated. Also, if you have somebody that comes in and trashes your Discord or does something like that, it makes rebuilding that very easy and automated. I know both of you guys are in the test server right now. What are your guys' thoughts on what you guys see at a basic level?
I think it's very interesting, and I think might alleviate or push the organizational capacity of Albion guilds to a different level, where I think we've been hard capped to some degree. And I'm honestly a bit worried about you guys just suddenly being able to organize better than Arch and actually being able to, how do you say this, utilize 1,000 or 10,000 people. And the thought of that is scary.
Well, definitely, 10,000 new bros weaponized is definitely something to be reckoned with. But no, we're actually we're going to be releasing it to the community as well as open source. Romby's also releasing his. So you'll have the ability, any group, this won't be a competitive advantage that we have over anybody else. We'll be releasing it as open source to the entire community here pretty quickly. We've also gotten from the SBI representative that there will be a little bit more attention paid to this aspect of the game from SBI, which will mean that we should see advances and further integrations coming down the road. So, for example, right now, you can, hop into Discord, type reg your name, it'll verify you're in, and it'll automatically propagate all your permissions across Discord, Mumble, TeamSpeak, whatever you need, as well as a backend for. So you can, say, for example, get access to guild or alliances backend, planning operations. It'll have timer boards. It'll have, the whole enchilada. So you'll be able to effectively manage as a community and be able to do things without having to spend tens of hours a week, adding permissions, removing permissions, so on and so forth.
Sounds good. Excellent. I'm interested in seeing not how well you can get organized, but how well you can help Arch get organized, because that's what's going to be interesting. Not how well you can grow yourself to be like Arch, but how well Arch can
Arch already has
organized.
Arch already has a rudimentary version of this as well.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I'd say you'll see groups like Bacon and Poe and other groups that adopt it, because pretty much eventually I think it'll become the standard. I mean, in other games, it has become the standard. I mean, if you join random Joe Blow group in EVE, you're going to be on Auth, you're going to be on their forums, you're going to have fully integrated permissions, API, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I see it as the future. It's, eventually, as you saw, Bogul, you can see fame of, somebody, how much ore fame they have, how much PvE fame they have, how much PvP fame they have. So if somebody's trying to tell a recruiter, oh, I've got, 20 million PvP fame, you can say, well, actually, you only got 1.5 million PvP fame according to your API. It makes everybody's lives a lot easier, right?
It does, yeah. But it's, again, it's a little bit scary. And I'm worried that it will put a little bit of a competitive disadvantage on some of the groups. But why not? Why not put Albion to the next level? And say,
go ahead.
Well, I just want to say, I mean, at the end of the day, isn't organization of a group part of the game, right? Like if you, as an organization, build out your infrastructure, build out your leadership, your management, and you're effective, if you can, train 20, 30 shot callers, if you can have a good organization, shouldn't you be rewarded for that?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's part of the game. I mean, you're organized with your islands. That covers you with billions of silver.
I don't have 5 professional IT guys doing the IT and the back end for me.
Well, you could probably recruit them though. There's nothing stopping you from doing that.
Actually, it is, because I can't really compensate them. But let's not talk about that.
That's another subject entirely. But yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So is there anything else? We've covered quite a bit today, and we're coming up to the 30-minute mark here.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to cover before we let you go? Because we've covered a lot. We've talked about who you are, where you came from. We talked about your guild and how it's a good place for new players. We talked about onboarding new players and getting them up to speed. We talked about the website, the Twitch show, what we can find on the Twitch show, and the future of what you need for your content. You need a writer. You need a big writer, right?
We need a lot of writers. Anybody, I mean, here's the thing. If you even have thought about writing, even if you think you're horrible, trust me, you can't be any more horrible than I am. Come try to write an article. Like, we're hiring writers, graphic designers, editors, video editors, and anybody who thinks they want to host a show on the channel. I mean, it's supposed to be a channel, not just one show. We did the show to kind of show the community what might be possible, but realistically, I would love to have a dozen or shows doing different aspects of the game, different varieties.
Yeah, I think it's a good goal, and I will do everything I can with my access to many people in the community to help you guys get there, because it would be good to have another news show. I love having more news for Albion. I don't think of any of this as competition. I think of all of this as we're all working together to make Albion as lively as possible. That's why I always try to support our other streamers and get everybody as much attention as possible. That's what we're here for. If you out there have your own stream that you want to get on, some advertising with, I'll do an interview with you. You have a guild that does some great onboarding of new players or has some weird twisted way of doing something different. Get on this show. Let's have an interview. It's about the entire community. So
yeah, Albion News is hiring from IT to writers, please. And just join our Discord and either message me or put a message in the apply channel.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time here at Voltel. Bull, do you have anything else to say before we let him go?
I suppose, what's your name called in game? I suppose your alliance name again. And when is your auth thing ready?
Auth is in beta right now. We will be guinea pigging our alliance now in the next probably 24 hours. And then by Christmas, probably we will be releasing the open source for everybody if they want to implement it themselves. We will have classes. So, if you're somewhat IT savvy, you should be able to set it up yourself. We'll teach you how to do it. We'll also have a hosted version for people that, don't want to mess with it. But we highly encourage anybody when they're having their IT done, that they, have control of that for obvious reasons. And yeah, it should be the rudimentary stuff that you guys see, plus the web should be publicly available, at least 1 or 2 versions by the end of the year.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's excellent. Yeah, we tested it out a little bit. I'm looking forward to seeing how it grows and what we can do with it. Anything that makes it easier for guild leaders to manage their guilds in this game is absolutely awesome in my book. Thank you, Voltel, for coming on. Thank you for being such a great contributor to our community. And we look forward to seeing what you can do in the future and how this Albion News 24 Twitch show progresses and keeps getting more and more awesome.
Thank you. Hopefully we can bring in and retain more players.
That's the best idea we have, is just bring them in and keep them here. All right. Thank you very much. All right. Peace.
Cheers.
All right. And we are back with the AO Daily Show. That was the interview with Voltel and Shozen. And it was
that
quite
was
interesting.
Yeah, I was part of that. I was on.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Wow. Bogul, you have any idea how many mounts I just gave away?
No?
A lot.
All of them?
No, I didn't give out 100 of them. I gave closer to 50 of them away.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to show the final of this. There we go. Because the guys that I was showing on stream for the whole time are doing the final boss now. And I just want to have
Cool.
that roll
Yeah, just
forward.
keep that on for a moment. I mean, we've got about 10 minutes until we're going to be covering the crystals. Do we want to head over to the other room to see if Taziki is there?
Sure, let's do that right now.